Larry Bird, Charles Barkley's, we earned what we got. When the corporate America came to us, we had a game that could validate their admiration and
sponsorship and all that, yeah.
Now they get that before they play one game.
Yeah.
So you're rolling the dice to see if this kid's ever going to be good or not.
Yeah.
So in essence, you're paying the kid off of potential.
Yeah.
That he may be great.
You don't think that's good?
No, because I think it sets bad work ethic. When you get something so easily.
When success comes too easy, the work ethic dies. If you look at what is really killing basketball in the 2020s, nothing is more damaging than load management. This trend of healthy players sitting out has become the biggest drama in the NBA, exploding into a total league scandal. What is it exactly? Load management? Yep. Can you imagine a coach telling me they are going to rest me tonight? What does that even mean? Rest me? This is a game. Or maybe you start the season with an attitude like this. I have 82 games, but expect me to miss 20. No way. What used to be real recovery has turned into a lazy excuse to skip work. Fans are fed up. With Adam Silver in charge, this has grown from a minor issue into a total nightmare for the league. Let us just say you are playing 4 games. You cannot ask fans to pay top dollar when a star making $95 million refuses to play back-to-back games. It is destroying competition, tanking the ratings, and burning the trust fans have in the sport. Here is the wildest part. Modern players are living better than ever. They have private jets, but you still have to actually go out and play hard. Does it hurt physically? No. Because when I am on the court, I go hard. I do not turn it on and off. We are talking 100 personal chefs, elite doctors, high-tech recovery tools, and custom training programs designed specifically for them. These stars are living like royalty, yet somehow they spend less time on the court than the legends of the past. What comes to mind when you hear everyone talking about this load management stuff? Look, it simply should not be necessary. Most importantly, I never wanted to sit out because every single game was a chance to prove my worth. I always felt that the fans were there specifically to watch me play the game I love. I wanted to be there. Compared to the old-school Warriors from the 80s and 90s, today's NBA stars have it much easier. Yet they sit out, play fewer minutes, and treat resting like a job requirement. Fans are left wondering how any of this makes sense. You would show up to practice and find him on one leg. He was hurt his second year, but played 82 games on one leg. He practiced every single day and suited up for every game while playing on just one good leg. People would ask him why he did not just sit out. He said he could not lead the team from the bench while his teammates were out there grinding. He said, "I have to be there." I remember twisting my ankle once, and a teammate, David Greenwood, came up. He told me, "Look, kid, your ankle is shot. Come sit down and rest." But I looked at him and said, "No way. I am trying to build a name here. There is no chance I am sitting. I need to be out there showing my talent now. I want to be on that court. I want to win. I want to make a real impact on the game." Where is the pride and the fire that defined NBA greatness? Back in the 90s, teams and players were just built differently. One trainer and one coach was all they had. They practiced harder, played tougher, and lived through a golden era of basketball. This resting stuff is driving me insane. You are getting paid to play basketball for a living, right? I would get it if you were working in a coal mine and needed a break. But this is basketball we are talking about. You play for 2.5 hours a day. Maybe 3. That is the whole job. That is the gig. That is what you get paid for, handling brutal back-to-backs without ever complaining or begging for a night of rest. Those legends showed up no matter how they felt, and that is why fans still respect them so much today. Nowadays, teams have massive medical staffs and performance analysts. Back then, I just competed hard and left it all out there. I played the sport the way it was meant to be played. I pushed through injuries because I had real pride in my game. Despite all the fancy technology and recovery tools, injuries and missed games are actually at an all-time high. How is that even possible? Something in the modern system is clearly broken, but nobody in the league wants to admit it. Here is the thing. I always felt a sense of pride for the fans who are paying their hard-earned money to watch. Second, I needed to stay sharp. I was not going to let my skills fade away or lose my competitive edge. And third, I wanted our team rhythm to stay consistent throughout the entire season. For new fans who started watching in the 2020s, this load management nonsense actually feels like the norm. They believe that sitting out while healthy is just part of the sport, but that mindset is completely backwards and wrong. This whole concept needs to be shut down. Every coach, player, and real fan should start demanding real basketball again. The kind of basketball played with pure heart, not caution. It's about more than just a ticket price. Did you really care about that fan sitting way up in the nosebleeds at the Palace just to see you play? Yeah, because I know he's likely shouting at me, and I want to silence him. Let's talk about today's game. We had Club on here, and he discussed load management. He said, "I don't know what this is. This isn't how basketball was meant to be played." Want to see how absurd load management has become? Just look at the legends of the court. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, and Scottie Pippen. Those guys never sat out a game. They played through agony and exhaustion, overcoming every hurdle. They gave their all to the fans every single night. No excuses. That is what genuine pride and passion look like. Sure, injuries happen, but nobody sat out just because they felt a little tired. Before the 2000s, skipping games was unheard of. From 1990 to 2005, dozens of players played 82 games multiple seasons straight. Try finding that now. It is basically extinct. The most consistent stars all come from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. That is no accident. That's pure dedication, and the modern era is missing it. When they say old-school stars were built different, they're right. They really were. Back then, there were 7 different seasons where over 50 players played every single game scheduled. That's wild. Those legends showed up no matter what happened. Tired, sore, or bruised, they still laced up their sneakers. Now look at the weakest eras for player durability. The years when hardly anyone played every game. Want to guess? 2022 is the softest stretch ever. Right behind it come 2023, 24, and 25. It's the same sad story. Even the late 2010s showed signs of trouble. That says it all. Load management exploded in the 2020s after slowly creeping in during the late 2010s. If you want the perfect example of real commitment, look no further than Michael Jordan. This man played all 82 games 9 times in 15 years, including his final season at 40 years old. Can you imagine? At 40, when most stars today would be talking about resting their bodies, MJ was out there battling every night like a rookie. Out of those 15 seasons, he played at least 78 games in 12 of them. He only missed time when he broke his foot in '86 and during his first retirement in the mid-90s. That's it. That is the true line between legends and everyone else in this league. MJ never believed in nights off, never hid from competition, and never cheated fans who paid to see him. He showed up because that's what greatness required. Today, he still doesn't get why modern players feel resting is necessary. For Jordan, being elite wasn't about talking, it was about being on the floor every single game. One massive thing missing from today's NBA superstars is a sense of respect. Respect for the fans and the game itself. When a star sits out while healthy, it's not rest. It's an insult to every person who paid for a seat or tuned in expecting to see greatness. Families save up and travel, but instead of seeing their hero, they get a last-minute rest day update. Stars won't play back-to-back games. That is not just a major disappointment. It is embarrassing for basketball itself, and here's the part that makes zero sense. If players in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s played every game with worse travel and less medical support, why can't today's stars do the same? The answer is simple. They've got it too easy. The comfort, luxury, and guaranteed money have softened the athlete's mentality. Look at Ben Simmons, the perfect example of the modern mindset. Once he got paid, he checked out completely. It was like, goodbye. I'm rich, I'm done. No hunger, no fire, and zero drive to compete. While most players aren't as extreme, that same attitude lingers. Even if I play poorly, I'm still getting paid. That right there is the real disease hurting the NBA: entitlement over effort, money over passion, and comfort over competition. When you talk about Michael Jordan, What made him a legend wasn't just his skill. It was that killer mindset and fire. He respected the game and loved his fans, making him a true icon. That relentless attitude and his refusal to ever miss a game is what made him truly legendary. Playing every night in the Michael Jordan era was no joke. It was miles tougher than what any player deals with today. As a rookie, Jordan never cut corners. He played all 82 games, averaging 38.3 minutes a night, ranking 4th in the league for minutes played. Only two legends were ahead of him, Buck Williams and Larry Bird. Talk about elite company. From day one, Jordan was just built different, a total Iron Man on the court. Let's be real, doing that back then was on another level. The travel alone was absolutely brutal. Recovery options were slim. No private jets or high-tech recovery pods. Just raw grit. No first-class treatment, no days off, and zero excuses. His grind was 10 times harder than the soft, comfort-filled setup most NBA stars enjoy in today's league. Who could forget the legendary 1997 NBA Finals? Game 5, series tied, pressure through the roof, and Jordan is out there battling a 103-degree fever. Most people would have stayed in bed, but Jordan, he laced up and went to war. 38 points later, he led the Bulls to a 90-88 win over Utah, even hitting a clutch three with only 25 seconds left. That's what separates legends from the pack. Jordan didn't just show up, he dominated the entire floor. Even half dead, he played like a monster and showed the world what peak greatness actually is. That's the mindset of a real competitor, someone who respects the game so much they'll crawl through glass to win. That's how a true basketball ambassador handles their business. No excuses and no hiding, just pure willpower. And when we talk about the closest thing we have ever seen to Michael Jordan, it is easily Kobe Bean Bryant. He was cut from that same ruthless cloth, that same killer instinct. His drive was so fierce it cost him a shot at being the all-time leading scorer and ultimately, his career. In his 17th season at age 34, Kobe's stats were almost identical to LeBron James, who was only 28 and the MVP that year. That's how relentless Kobe was. Pure passion, total obsession, and an undying legacy. LeBron averaged 26.8 points, 8 boards, and 7.3 assists. Kobe, 27.3 points and 6 assists. Here's the wild part. Kobe actually played in more games than LeBron did that entire season. That's insane for a veteran, but that year was absolute chaos for the Los Angeles Lakers. Everything was falling to pieces. Pau Gasol's production took a massive hit. Pau only started 42 games, and Steve Nash missed more than 30. It was a complete mess. So, Kobe did what real leaders do. He put the whole team on his back. Over his last 7 games, he averaged 29 points and 8.5 assists, while playing a grueling 46 minutes a night. He was practically carrying the Lakers single-handedly. Then came April 12th, 2013, the night his body finally broke. A torn Achilles ended his season and changed the game forever. But even that didn't stop him. He tried to return twice, and when that failed, he still powered through one final season limping if he had to, just out of his pure, undying love for the game. Kobe could have chased all the records and stats, but for him, that wasn't the point. Just like Mike, he cared about giving everything. Every ounce of energy and every drop of sweat. Every single night. He pushed his limits and elevated his teammates even when his body screamed, no. That's true greatness, and that's what it means to really play hard. Now, let's pause here. When you bring up LeBron James, the face of the NBA throughout the 2010s, there is a hard truth that fans really do not want to face. This man, despite all his talent and influence over the league, has played a full 82-game season only once in his entire career. Once. For a player who is supposed to define the standard of greatness, that's truly shocking. Compare that to the real grinders. Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and Allen Iverson. Guys who went all out every night, no matter how beat up or exhausted they felt. Those legends didn't sit out for load management or to protect their stats. They played because that is exactly what greatness demanded. They gave fans their money's worth every single night. No excuses. That is the difference between being a superstar and being a legend. Compared to those old-school legends, LeBron's load management looks straight up weak. Honestly, disappointing. Look, people try to brush it off. They say it is only a game or two, or a week to rest. But that is the core of the problem. It matters when it starts at the top. When you are the face of the NBA, every move you make sets the standard for the entire league. If LeBron James sits out even when he is feeling 100%, it broadcasts a dangerous message. It says skipping games is fine, effort is optional, and showing up just is not a priority anymore. Suddenly, younger players start wondering if the best in the world is taking a night off. Why should not I? That is how a league-wide culture shift begins. What LeBron James does goes way beyond the Los Angeles Lakers. It echoes through every NBA locker room. Now, imagine if he did the total opposite, grinding every night, leading by example with that classic old-school toughness. The entire vibe of the league would be totally different right now. Back when Michael Jordan ran the league, nobody would dare sit out if they were healthy. Competing was not a choice. It was pure pride. Players stepped onto that hardwood because that is what Warriors did. Zero excuses. No days off. That era thrived on grit and a deep love for basketball. But in the era of LeBron, everything has flipped. Superstars rest more, play less, and that savage drive to compete has started to vanish. The hunger is gone. That is why the NBA is invoking Michael Jordan's name again. They know his legacy carries more weight than LeBron James or even Adam Silver. Michael Jordan does not need to lecture anyone or post motivational speeches online. His very presence shifts the mindset. If Jordan says play every game, it just hits a lot harder. It is a wake-up call. It reminds every player and fan what genuine greatness actually looks like. That unshakable dedication and show up no matter what attitude is what built the league's soul originally. And honestly, that is exactly what the NBA needs to feel alive again. So, what is your take? Do you think this drama surrounding load management is finally about to cool down? Or is this just the beginning of something much bigger? I really want to hear your opinion. Drop a comment below and let us start the debate. Huge shout out for watching and sticking with Sportura until the very end. Your support means the world. If you like this breakdown, smash that like button and share this with fans who love that old school grind. And if you are new here, do not leave yet. Subscribe right now for more wild basketball stories, deep dives, and all the behind-the-scenes chaos that makes the NBA great. Catch you in the next video. Stay sharp, stay real, and keep that competitive fire burning.